High achieving and secretly running on empty. Today, love coach Sylvia Silvers shows us how feminine softness can become your strongest edge so you can keep your success and reconnect with real intimacy to have a love that is lasting. This is True Wellness with Dr. D. Let's begin. Welcome to True Wellness with Dr. D, the podcast where we explore what it takes to live with vitality, balance, and purpose. I am Dr. D, and each week I'll bring you powerful tools, inspiring stories, and expert insights to help you thrive in every area of your life. From health and wellness to mindset and navigating life's challenges, this podcast is your guide to creating a life of true well-being. Be sure to check the show notes and grab your free copy of the True Wellness Checklist so you can get started on your journey to true wellness right away. Now, let's get started. Okay, so many of our listeners are high achievers. They know how to lead, they know how to achieve, they know how to stay strong, but somewhere along the way, they lose touch with the softness, the vulnerability, the true connection, right? I know it myself. We kind of get on that path and we just go. And today I'm joined by Sylvia Silvers to explore just how we can return to love, right? Not that fleeting kind of love, but the kind that's rooted in faith, in self-worth, in emotional truth. So let's dive in. So for everyone, Sylvia, thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Dr. D.
Yes. So Sylvia Silvers, she is a love reconnector. She is the founder of the Circle Framework for Emotional Healing and Lasting Intimacy. She's also the author. Let me grab her book here. She's also the author of The 6 Stages of Lasting Love. And I wore pink just to match your book today. So she's helped women from some of the wealthiest families in Asia and Europe really rediscover their softness, rebuild connection, and awaken a love that's rooted in and grounded in who we are and where we're supposed to be as human beings. So Sylvia, I'm excited because I think I see this even more so with my clients and with our listeners, in that we do, like, many women are in hyper overdrive, moving towards their success and still experiencing this sense of emptiness, right?
Yes.
In their relationships and in their intimacy. So talk to me, how do successful women reconnect with themselves and rediscover that lasting love without losing their success, right? Or their identity?
Yes. So most of the women, especially high achievers, I've been there. I know how this feeling, because we are mimicking the masculine. Like we have to go, 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 and everything like goals and achieve, achieve, achieve.
Yes.
And that's how we tend to be fast. We want to achieve more, more, and more. And we tend to think that our feelings and emotions are something that makes women weak.
Yes.
So the moment we neglect our feelings and emotions, that's how we started to betray ourselves. Because here, our feminine body is the emotional body, right? Our emotions and our feelings is our power. So when you started to use more of your feminine energy, even though when you are working, use more of your heart, empathy. It's how you started to see. Actually, when I use my feminine, I started to slow down. I started to use more of my heart. It's That's how I started to see more of the love. I can balance. I can be the woman that I should be at work and also at home.
Yeah. What I hear you saying is that softness, that vulnerability, that being in tune with ourselves is actually a strength and not a weakness.
Yes, 100%.
So it's funny because we've kind of been taught that emotions are like bad, right? Like, oh, don't cry, don't feel that, just keep going, like be resilient. And we
Mm.
talk a lot, or I talk a lot with my clients and stuff about being vulnerable, about being in touch with our bodies. We have a podcast I did with Dr. Joan Rosenberg, who has written a book called 90 Seconds to a Life You Love. And the book is all about how, we can, when we're not feeling our emotions, we start to pick up kind of these maladaptive behaviors. But when we can feel into those emotions, we create so much peace and joy and love in our life. And that sounds like it's exactly what it is that you're pointing to.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, that's also, I think, like most of the ladies, like high achiever ladies,
Hmm.
they wanna look strong,
Yes.
like, but by like when you say strong, you need to understand that actually we are very strong. Like the women is very very strong, but doesn't mean, I see a lot of messages out there, some empowering women. So like when you say that you are strong, it means like I don't need man in my life.
Mm,
That's how women started to have the wrong ideas about relationship.
yes. Yes. Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
Thinking, and that's part of the trap, right? Because I know that one of the biggest struggles that women have is oftentimes asking for help, right? And so they're always trying to do things on their own, and asking for help is like that sign of weakness, when really it's a sign of strength, I think.
It is 100%.
Yeah.
Especially when you have kids, you understand this
Yeah,
more.
absolutely.
I think like once I saw one video, the lady was like talking about asking for help, right? And then one lady was in the audience and said like, okay, it's very easy for successful women, that she said like, okay, I'm very successful, I can do this, do this, do this. And then turns out at home you have some nannies that can help with your kids, and someone like maids, probably like housemaids who can help you to clean the house, and maybe someone who help you to do your grass lawn, something like this, right? And I think it's not weak, it's smart, because you know how to use your time
Yes.
better,
Yes.
by asking someone to do things like this, especially cleaning the house, right? Because
Right.
you focus on what you can't be replaceable. That's what I always tell the ladies. Do things that nothing can replace you. For example, like the relationship with your husband, if
Yes.
nothing can replace you, so why you have to replace those time? Because you can't, usually ladies said like, okay, I can't have that connection with my husband because I'm too tired, I have to work, I go back home, I have to cook, I have to clean, I have to take care of the kids.
Yes.
A lot of things you can replace. Of course, with the kids is different thing, but cleaning the house and cooking, you can replace them.
Yes.
So don't replace things that only you can do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and when we're doing that, when we're doing the things that we are irreplaceable in, like being present with our family, that
Mm.
brings so much reward than some of the other things. So I love that. I mean, let's talk a little bit about your 6 stages of lasting love.
Yeah.
How did this come about? I know I've read your story in your book, but tell us a little bit about your story and how this came to be.
Yeah. So actually, the very first thing that I noticed when I really started to think about, okay, I wanna use all my expertise that I learned since 2006 to do this as a coaching business, is when the, of course, pandemic.
Yes.
Though I cannot go to our factory, like we have the manufacture healthy food and beverages,
Mhm.
and then COVID lockdown. I was in Indonesia by that time, and only my husband can go to the factory. So I was like, trying to see what else can I do with my expertise. And then I started to do this coaching business, but because my base is like tantra teacher, right? So I started to do the sex and intimacy. That's how I started.
Yes.
So I remember there was one lady. She's actually a coach, a family coach. So she had a problem with the intimacy.
Hmm.
Her husband is very sexually active man that wanna have sex every day, while she felt pain during the intercourse, right?
Yes.
And she went to the sex therapist, and then the sex therapist told her that, okay, I will give you the challenge 100 days to have sex every day. In the end, you will notice that your body will start to ask for that. And then she
Okay.
said, not even 2 weeks, she felt like she want to puke because it's just so disgusting. Couldn't handle it.
Right.
So there was one of my friend in the coaching business. He said like, "Hey, I actually had a friend that doing the sex and intimacy." So that's how I started to started to notice things. Okay, that kind of challenge actually great when you don't have the pain in your body. So
Right.
study to notice, okay, the connection between the pleasure and then maybe the inner childhood, sexual abuse, things like this. And
Yes.
that's how I started to see, okay, when someone actually got the, sexual abuse or toxic marriage, things like this, you can't tell her to do things that someone who have the problem with cold marriage do. Maybe
Right.
someone in a cold marriage, they can do something like, to tease their husband, tease themselves. But someone who have toxic marriage, husband is like sexual abuse, things like this, you can't push the same thing.
Sure.
But
Sure.
didn't put it all together until I was writing this book, right? I started to, this is actually my third edition, third version
Okay.
of my
Love
book.
it.
Yeah. So I started to notice, okay, I got the clients who came because of the toxic marriage, came with single, come from cold marriage because of the alcohol problem, things like this. I see that, okay, they have same issues, intimacy issues or problem with themselves, feeling numb, but somehow the advice that I gave them is not the same because the methods should be different.
Yes.
So that's how it is like we pull together with my coach as well. Like, what is it that makes different? That's how we come up with the stages.
Yes.
So okay, when you are single, what makes single people, single ladies got into the toxic marriage? How can we make this when single people come to me, they don't have to go to the stage two, they don't have to go to the toxic marriage first. They can always from single immediately go to blissful marriage or even lasting love.
Yes.
So that's how I started to study my clients, study myself, my own stories. And yeah, that's it. Like we come up with the okay, there are actually 6 stages
Yeah.
for love. Yeah.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Dr. D. I just wanted to remind you that you can get started on your true wellness journey. Go ahead and check the show notes and grab a link to the True Wellness Checklist. Now, let's get back to the episode. So, as people move through these, so what you're saying is they don't always have to move through the 6 stages of love, but the 6 stages of love, if we can master each stage, and we don't have to go through each stage to master each stage, we can get to that point where we have that deep lasting love. What is characteristic of deep lasting love?
Yes. So when lasting love, the difference between stage 5 and stage 6 is actually the connection with the God, the source,
Mhm.
right? Because so many couple who are in the blissful marriage, everything is great, intimacy is great. They can, connect, communicate better, but somehow they're still feeling of something is missing because we don't have the same belief or faith. So
Yes.
that's how like when they started to understand, okay, how can we, even though we are not the same religion, but we can understand the same basic principle of the religion. Every religion is the same, which is loving kindness. How can we use this loving kindness as the foundation in our life, not only in our marriage, but also everyday life, including the connection with our kids, connection with people around us, connection with our in-laws, things like this. So I started to notice when clients started to implement everything in their life based on loving kindness,
Mm.
to see that, oh, they started to attract kind people in their life. They started to attract miracles in their life because they started to understand the principle of having someone like, more than you, like source.
Yes. 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 I love that. So essentially it is learning to evolve to the space where love, genuine love and kindness are at the foundation of our relationships with our spouses, with ourselves, with the community at large. Is that right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Talk to me about why. So I think that so many successful women will find that success alone, right, is doesn't bring them joy and satisfaction, or doesn't bring them the joy and satisfaction they thought it might originally be, right? It's like, okay, if I get to this point where I achieve this goal, then I'm going to be happy. Or if I get to this point where I achieve this, then my life is going to be wonderful. But instead, they find that they're emotionally disconnected, or they're giving and not able to receive, and they're just kind of burning out instead of having joy in their lives. How does your circle framework actually, how do you help women reconnect with their inner world so that they
Mm,
can experience that peace, right, and still be successful in what the world outside looks like, or what the world outside calls success?
yes. So the very first thing that I always share with the ladies is slow down,
Mm.
slow down. Um, you
How,
know,
Sylvia? How do we slow down?
actually, even our mentor, Sifu Danlok, like
Uh-huh.
in the beginning, she told me also when I started to want to achieve the goal, she said, Sylvia, remember, slow is fast. And it's like, oh, I got this, like slap in my face, like, feminine is slow, right? So success, when you don't have the idea, like, why do I want to be successful? Is in the end, so many successful women, they they lost their relationship because of they have to achieve some certain goals.
Mhm.
And I remember one of my client in the past. She said, Sylvia, I know that I almost lost my marriage, but in the end, you make me realize that, oops, I in the beginning I wanna do this work, I wanna achieve this success because I wanna have more time with my family. But now, if I lost my family when I achieve everything and I'm alone, what is it for?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So as a mom and we are working, it's different with the men. We have this, it feels like the kids is our responsibility as well.
Mhm.
We, like, mom always feel guilty when we work too much,
Right.
but again, when we slow down, we know that, okay, my priority, this is what I do, and then I ask my clients to do every day. Instead of, I have to do maybe 5 hours with my kids, maybe you feel this way, right? That's a great mom. You can just even have 15 to 30 minutes, but really focus on them, let go of the gadget, things like this. And you know that, okay, what is the value that
Yeah.
I want to give to my kids? or being together, what does it mean? Like connect. So many ladies, they forget how to be fun, how to play. That's also the thing that we started to lose. Like we become too serious, taking things too personally all the time. We become easily to be angry. And then I know not zero lady, zero mom love to see them angry or yelling. So I started to notice myself also when I started to yell or I started to be easily triggered, especially when kids didn't listen. That's
Yes.
how I feel like, I'm not successful. I failed.
Right.
No matter how many zeros I made, but
Right.
when I know that my kids is not respectful, I failed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like it's so easy in life, especially in this day and age when everything is moving so fast, fast, fast. It's so easy for us to kind of lose focus of that much higher level. I know I do it myself. I'm like, okay, I just have this one project. I just got to get this project done. And when I get this project done, then I'm going to take some more time off, right? Or I'll rest, or I'll go do something fun or whatever. But
Mm,
then you realize that, okay, well, that project ends and there's always something to follow suit. And if we don't stop,
mm,
right, and we don't take the time to actually be present, to have fun, to
mm.
reflect, to step away, we end up in this really very empty place. Because I think that connection to ourselves, connection to our family, connection to other human beings is part of what brings us love and joy.
Yes. Especially connection with yourself. Like
Mm-hmm.
how many ladies now they are comfortable with being a woman? Like, move like lady, like behave like lady.
Mm-hmm.
Zero. Because most of the time when I do my class, my master class, I started to ask the ladies to embody our feminine, right? Started to, okay, let's walk this kind of this way. They feel like, angry. They feel, why do this? Some
Yeah.
even leave the room.
Yeah.
But this is this is so wrong. Like when you study to reject your femininity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very powerful thing. I know for me personally, I definitely embrace a lot more of the masculine, right? That like type A, highly analytical. It takes really being conscious to embrace that femininity.
Yes.
And I would still say for myself, it's still even difficult a lot of time, right? Because
Mm,
we associate that productivity, that go with,
yes.
again, feeling like we're doing things and accomplishing things. But it's an illusion, right? Because really the purpose and the intention is to be mindful, is to be present. So
Yeah.
I guess my question for you then, Sylvia, is I mean, this is a big cost of being disconnected. Why is it that strong women will lose themselves in relationship, right? Or why powerful women will often underneath they'll feel unseen, unheard, or unloved in their marriages?
Mm-hmm. So when I share this, when I share this, so many high achievers, so many leaders, female leaders, they don't like it. They don't like it
Yes.
because I noticed I was there as well. Like I love to become boss, right? I want to become like the leader and everything.
Yes.
Okay, at home, no matter what you say, you're not the leader.
Hmm.
You the feminine is guiding. Like we are not leading, we are guiding. But and then I use the terms of the man, the husband, the man at home. Yes, they are the head of our family, the head. Just imagine our body, this is the head.
Yes.
But without the strong neck, what happen if you have stiff in your neck? You can't move your head.
Yes. Yes.
So that's the concept that I want to remind the ladies. When you use that, okay, I'm also the head. The head. Everybody want to be the head. Doom. Because masculine, you either fight. There is no magnet. But
Yeah.
when you know that, okay, to support the head of my family, I need to become the neck. And
Yes.
then don't underestimate because you're not the head. Because
Right.
without this, there is no there is no head.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
it's the illusion of believing that we've got to be in control and be the boss of everything, right? And then you've got your spouse coming in who also wants to do that thing, and then there's conflict.
yes. You can guide. It's guidance, like you when you guide is actually stronger for my opinion. Like for me, it's like stronger when you guide. Okay, you let him lead you, but you are guiding him where to go.
Yes. Yeah. Say more about that. Say more about that. The difference between leading and guiding.
Yes, it's just the ego that everybody want to become the head, want to become the boss, right? But here actually bigger boss than the head.
Yeah. I love, well, it's kind of like an illusion, right? And it also speaks to the power in real partnership, right?
Mm,
Because when it's kind of like yin and yang, right? When we build off the strengths and weaknesses of one another, we become, 1 + 1 no longer equals 2, 1 + 1 equals 10. And that's so much more powerful and so much more magnificent and so much more rewarding, I think, at the end of the day.
yes, I
Yeah.
also see that I learned so much because I'm Asian, right? And then I marry European. My husband is European, so I learned so much. What is great in the Asian culture about the
Uh-huh.
marriage, what is bad, what is great in the Western culture, and then I combine them. So I see that okay, in Asian culture, the women is just follow. They have no opinion. Now it's more and more like they study to go out there and then
Yes.
study to be very strong, but still um very let the whatever that the man says, they will just say yes even though they mean no, like very people pleaser.
Yes.
But the good thing about the Asian culture in marriage, that women, the idea of a wife is the very gentle, very loving. The women is like when your husband eat or something like this, they always your husband first, or they serve, give the food, things like this is I rarely see in Western culture.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, like I learned so much, and then from the Western culture, I see that okay, when you study to stand up for yourself, but the okay, while you are applying the loving kindness, you know how to stand up for yourself, setting the healthy boundaries, but you're not rude. You still that kind of gentle ladies,
Right.
and then the concept of women is just like a rose,
Hmm.
very sharp, very beautiful, smells so good. That's how we should be. Because feminine is very smells so good, so beautiful that
Yes.
when you mix with us, you got you got the ouch.
That's,
But also
yeah.
when you try to become the masculine, the rose is very fragile.
Mm.
That's how we tend to be hurt easily when we play by masculine rule,
Ah, got it.
because we are so soft but also very strong, but in our own energy.
I
Yeah.
love that. So let's dive into that a little bit, because what I hear you talking about is, I know that you redefine what it means in terms of feminine power, and how is it that kind of softness, right, which we've been told for the last several years, softness is not a superpower, right? You got to be hard, you got to be strong, you got to be all this, but you say differently. So how does that softness really become a woman's superpower? How, what is that myth that strength means control?
Yeah. Softness in feminine, you learn to pause. This is not also like this is um, learning to how to respond is almost the same. But when you study to learn to pause, study to learn to breathe, especially through your nose, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you start to understand more about your feelings and your emotions. And I see so many recording of them. They got the CCTV of the toxic marriage. I
Yes.
see what happened in toxic marriage is because when the men started to show their power, the women mimicking them. They're like, okay, what is, and they got either punch or take bad things. But imagine when you use your softness. The men come back home, they're very tired, they're maybe moody. Instead of saying like, what happened? Why your face like this again? You can just see, okay, he's maybe have some hard time in the office, something like this. You know your man, you know your husband, right? You can just say, hi honey, welcome home. With your gentleness, you can hug and everything. I see that. Do you feel tired? Something like this. Do you want to drink something? Or something like this. Just having in that kind of nurture, gentle, feminine
Yes.
presence.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't ask when you know that he's not ready to share. And then
Mm-hmm.
don't offer the solution when he share about his problem, because that's how women listen first. It's not easy for nowadays, because we think that we know everything, we are so smart. We
Yes.
know that when we tell this, he will get out from his problem,
Yes.
right? I learned so much about this myself also, because I tend to like, when I see problem, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this instead of this, you have to this. But in my journey, I learned like, okay, to just bite my tongue, and then
Mm-hmm.
listen, and then do something different. Maybe sometimes he needs just you to caress him, or maybe just need to sit down next to him, hold his hand, things like this, but really feminine presence.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that feminine embodiment, um,
Mm.
in in the workplace, right? In business. How does
Yeah.
embracing that feminine really help restore balance in the business world?
Mm. So for the when you do the feminine for work, usually I want to use the more of the empathy.
Mhm.
So it's different because we women we can use more of our intuition,
Yes.
because our heart is our key. When we use more of our intuition, more of our heart, empathic, we know, like, we step into someone's shoes first because before we make decision. That's how we use our feminine power, because the more we practice our intuition, the stronger it is. We can understand just before someone speak. But this is how feminine works. Like when men, they tend to use their logic,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
They calculate everything, have to be logical. But most of the time, the problem in business is people problem, right? People have their emotions, they have something comes up, or their mind not aligned with what they're doing. And women understand this. We can see someone when they're in bad mood, and then
Yes.
how can we talk to them when they have bad mood? Not because, okay, I have to tell him to get it done this thing, because we have to get it done. Oh, or I acknowledge first, okay, maybe he have some problem, or maybe she is like in the something happened. I step in first, I ask about her, and then she feel heard, understood, and wow, she really cares about me, and then she will do the work willingly and even better than we expected.
Yeah, yeah. Really, I mean, again, what I hear you talking about is connection, really connecting to another human being at that at that level of being a human being, not at that level of I'm better than somebody else, but actually coming and relating to a person where they're at is actually one of the most powerful things.
Yes, this is also I learned from the Eastern culture.
Hmm.
In Chinese, we say Guanxi.
Hmm.
Guanxi is the connection. It's very, very important in if you have business with Asian. Guanxi is number one, not the business itself.
Mm.
When you have really good connection,
Yes.
basically you can get everything.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, well, because you start to see eye to eye, you can find that common ground. I mean, if you look at the world today and all the chaos that's going on in the world, it's like, wow, if what would happen if human beings just sat down, got off social media, right? Stopped texting responses or posting responses, but actually sat eye to eye and face and connected with one another. Like it's a whole different
Yes,
experience.
yeah.
Yeah.
I hope we can really go back to the old times more
Yeah.
often.
Yeah, in that respect, absolutely. I mean, let's talk about that a little bit because I think some of where we are or where we find ourselves a lot today is in this state of, there's so much information, there's so
Mm,
much coming at us all the time, but there is this overarching feeling of like anxiety or overthinking. And
yeah.
how do we actually how do we use that to our advantage? I know you talk a lot, about spiritual misalignment. Can you walk us through there and help our listeners to understand that?
Yeah. So I help a lot of ladies also that especially in the stage 2 and stage 3, which is like toxic marriage and also cold marriage,
Mhm.
about this anxiety. Like that's how I see like how women started to disconnect with themselves because of the something in the past. They're afraid of something in the past may happen again,
Yes.
or worried about something in the future that may happen.
Yes.
So when you have that anxiety, you need to understand that I need to go back to the present moment.
Yes.
Going back to the present moment is as easy as breathing, like, pay attention to the breathing through your nose, and then out have to be through your nose again. Because that's how we tell our nervous system that we are calm, we are safe.
Mm.
My clients who got the panic attacks, because panic attacks like they got anxious, they feel like this, but they neglect their emotions, they neglect their feelings. Collective anxiousness become panic attack.
Yes.
So when it happens, I always said like, okay, the easiest way is to take off your shoes and then just ground, just feel everything, like your feet in the ground. They said like, okay, but how if I'm not on top of the grass? You just feel your feet in the floor, like on the floor, right?
Mhm.
Just feel it, and then use your five senses. That's the easiest way, and then remember to breathe through your nose. So
Yeah.
that's how we started to come back from the present moment.
Yeah.
That's if you wanna get rid of the panic attack or anxiety very fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Just getting present. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, we always do say anxiety is it's predicting a negative outcome, right? That hasn't even occurred. And so when we can come back into the present and stop trying to predict what's going to happen, then we
Yeah.
end up in this much better space. Talk to
Yes.
me about, I mean, I know that you've worked with so many women and you have such amazing results with the women and the couples that you work with. Share with us some of those stories. What does emotional healing look like in real
Hmm.
life?
Yeah. So I always share, like, before the really physical intimacy, women, especially us, we really want that emotional intimacy. For us, it's more about the heart.
Mhm.
For women, like, we need to open our heart first to want more than that.
Yes.
Men is different. It's like vice versa. They need to open first, the sex first. They will open first. That's how we got this, oh my God, I want him to care about me first. Then I want to have, sex. But for him, I want her to have sex with me, then I will care for
Right.
her.
That yin
So,
and yang.
yes. So now when we understand this, okay, we see this problem. We are now listening to this. We see this problem, the disconnection in our marriage. Our husband don't want to learn about it. How can we do it? A lot of ladies, I got, there was many times when the ladies, they feel like, that's bullshit, he's an asshole. I got once, like, during the Zoom, the lady just, bang the laptop, said, enough, I don't want to listen anymore, I'm so angry because he's the one that made mistake and everything. Okay, I just gave her the space. So this happen usually when um, toxic toxic marriage happen. The ladies feel that, okay, betrayal happen in their marriage, but because most of my clients, they are faith, like they have the, like, very faithful in their religion, they want to stay in their marriage.
Mhm.
So if when the toxic marriage happen and then you don't want to give up, you don't want to divorce, it's really possible to go bring your marriage to the lasting love stage, but you need to let go a lot of your ego and step into that feminine presence.
Yes.
Because, you know I had that story as well, like myself, right? When I started to only think about business, think about kids, think about what happened with the clients and everything, I started to forget about intimacy, things like this. Of
Yes.
course, it's very painful for us women. We said, like, why us again? Why us? He should do this, he should do
Yes.
that.
Yes. I've heard lots of people say that. Yeah.
Why me? Why me? Like, they love to ask me, like, so why me again? I've done a lot of things. Why me?
Yes.
Because we see the problem. For
Yes.
him, there's nothing. Like, it's what? You're exaggerating. You're drama queen.
Yes.
But I need to change because I see the problem.
Right. Right.
What we need to do when we see that problem, okay, I have client that husband didn't want to have sex at all with her already. I said, don't tease him. You don't do things like, for the happy marriage, like
Right.
starting to touch him and everything. He doesn't want you. You just understand this. The connection is lost, totally lost. What you
Yes.
need to do is you need to connect with yourself. When you see yourself in the mirror, how much you adore yourself, how
Mm.
much you want to make love with yourself.
Yes.
That's how it is. You started to change the way you look at yourself. You never criticize yourself anymore. Maybe other people can say that, okay, Sylvia, you are ugly. Okay, that's their opinion. But I cannot say that to myself
Mm.
because no matter what, I need to feel beautiful. If I don't feel beautiful, which part? I have to be honest with myself. Okay, I don't like myself anymore now because I gained too much weight.
Mhm.
I don't like it. Something that we can change, we do. We know that we are not healthy anymore. Our skin is not nice.
Yes.
Okay, do something with that.
Yeah.
You don't say that this is who I am. Yes, of course, because I have 3 kids. I gain weight, of course. So what? That doesn't. It's not self love.
Right. It's being so there's a high level of honesty and vulnerability with ourselves that it takes. So what I hear you saying is that if we're going to transform any relationship, our relationship with our spouse, and in particular is what we're talking about right now, the first step is to love ourselves at that what's the word, unconditional, that unconditional level of self-love.
Yes, but unconditional that I want, that I mean for myself. I don't say that, okay, I love myself to, have like, the body shape, or I want to be toned, I want to be healthy. Unconditional doesn't mean that, okay, now I gain so much weight. I love myself anyway
Yeah.
without doing nothing. But
Yeah.
you just,
Yep.
right? You
Yeah.
just lie to yourself.
Yeah.
Because the moment you see yourself, you know that you can do something so much more, something better for yourself.
Yeah, I talk a lot with our clients about there's like this fine line, right? There is the line of being loving and kind and compassionate to yourself, but
Hmm.
also not using that as an excuse to let you off
Yes,
the hook, right? Not using it as a place to pretend that you're not comfortable, right? Because if
yes,
you're not comfortable, then you want to start to work on the things that are leaving you feeling uncomfortable, because that is ultimately your space of self-love, you know?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Something that you cannot change, like how tall you are, because I'm
Yes.
quite short.
Me too.
So like this, I can't say like I wish that I will be taller. Like that's it. Just
No
accept this is
control.
my
Yes.
personal life. But things like other things that you can do, exercise and stuff, eating healthier, you can do it.
Yes.
So change it.
Yes. What I
Mm.
always say is when we actually start to do those things, we actually get to fall in love with ourselves more, not
Yes.
because a specific societal outcome is occurring, but because we're in integrity with what feels true to ourselves in our hearts.
Yes. Like how will you say about you when you look at yourself, especially in the morning when you
Mhm,
just woke up, you
mhm.
see yourself in the mirror, will you say like, wow, you're
Yeah.
so beautiful, you're so
Yes.
sexy? Or you
Yeah.
say something like, oh my God, how come I look like this? I used to be like this.
Right. Right.
Yeah. When you caught yourself like this, then you ask yourself, like, what makes me criticize myself? Like, how
Mhm.
can I change that?
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. It's that again, it comes back to being present, right? And paying attention to what's really happened versus living inside of an illusion,
Yes.
right?
Exactly.
Like coming back full circle to that illusion of like we've got to be strong and we've got to be powerful and we've got to be really masculine, when really, like, if we embrace our femininity, there is a whole other level of power and influence and leadership that
Mm.
occurs when we're truly present. And the word I like to use is aligned, right? When we're aligned and things
Yes.
are all coherent.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. So Sylvia, I always like to ask our guests. So what would you say are 1 to 3 actionable things that our listeners can take on that will begin to help them change their lives, change their
Mm.
relationships?
Yeah. Because I love to um, remind the ladies that you are a feminine being.
Hmm.
So started to notice how can I be more
Yes.
feminine, the
Yes.
way I walk, the way I talk, the way I tease myself,
Yes.
is that feminine.
Yes.
Or easier way is the way I dress up. Do I look like like from behind? If I have the short hair, will I look like my husband?
Uh-huh.
If I look like my husband, it means I'm not embodying feminine. And also do more of the feminine embodiment. We start with the also feminine movement. So try to bring more of that funness. Maybe if you love dancing, try to move your body more. Because
Yes.
women nowadays, we are too stiff. We are,
Oh yeah.
especially when you work and go to gym and everything, is you're mimicking the man. You forget to be in your feminine body. You
Right.
forget to move like the lady. So
Right.
that's how the actionable, like, best I can give, because um I want to see more ladies to move like an elegant woman.
Yes.
Respect yourself. The way you dress up, you can see that, oh, sensual, sexy, but still keeping professional, elegance. That's how you started to embody that. People say, like, I'm the queen, right? How the queen will talk, will walk, will dress up, things like this.
Yeah, I love that. Sylvia, how can people learn more about your work, your book, The 6 Stages of Lasting Love? So tell us a little bit more about where they can find you.
Yes. So now you can go to my website, sylviasilvers.com. So you can learn so many things about me. I have my podcast as well, Love Reconnector.
Yes.
And yeah, so my book is now 6 Stages of Lasting Love. You can also start it to order from my website. Yeah, so I also have the Instagram and Facebook with the same name, Sylvia Silvers. It's very easy to find me.
Thank you. We will have all of that in the show notes for everyone. But in case you're not looking at the show notes, please feel free. Go over to Sylvia Silvers, SylviaSilvers.com, and you can connect with Sylvia there. So Sylvia, thank you so much for the work that you do in helping us come back to this powerful space of love, which is, I think it's been lost. I mean, you're working with women in different cultures too throughout the world, and it's not just it's just kind of gone missing. And so, thanks for being that guiding light with all your femininity and in taking us back to that place. Because
Yes.
in relationships, they are foundational. So,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
this is Dr. D reminding you to tune into your body, connect with what matters, and embrace the journey to true wellness. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to redefine their health. Be sure to grab a copy of the True Wellness Checklist right in the show notes. Let's keep redefining wellness and empowering change together. See you for the next episode.